Good morning and thanks for tuning in to FlowFM 92.7. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's the 17th of October 2025. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's via the website or your terrestrial radio, and for joining us on the analysis. I have our in-house analyst with us here. Good morning to you, Nicholas.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
How's your trip down here?
Well, it was cool.
Well, it's the weekend. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, looking forward to a pleasant rest, reading,
Okay.
and then preparing for next week.
As per usual. All
Yeah.
right. Well, as per usual, we have a couple of rules on the program this morning. We will not give into any logical fallacies or any news from unverifiable sources. Every news story that you bring up that you want to talk about on the analysis this morning has to be from verifiable sources as well. And we only have a space of 1 minute for you to share and pass your comments so as to give room to other callers as well. Let's also remember not to insult anyone. 0807-777-9927 is number to call to be a part of the conversation. The views to be expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. We're also streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook at FlowFM 927. So you can get on any of these apps and get in on live action happening in the studio right now. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Let's get right into the conversation. Well, Femi Falana calls for review of presidential pardon list. The human rights lawyer Femi Falana has called on the federal government to withdraw and review the list of 175 individuals recently granted presidential pardon by President Bola Tinubu. The pardons issued following recommendations from the Prerogative of Mercy Committee led by Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi. Included politically exposed persons, drug offenders, armed robbers, terrorists, and individuals convicted of state offenses such as culpable homicide, murder, and obtaining by false pretenses. He also emphasized that the Prerogative of Mercy Committee should guide state governors to consider pardons for those convicted of state offenses in line with state provisions. Now, the federal government has also clarified that no inmate has been released yet, and the process is still under review. But now, how does this affect the controversy surrounding the pardons?
To a very large extent, I've been expecting somebody, to come up and really challenge that
presidential pardon.
Yeah, presidential pardon. Because you see, presidential pardons, in fact, pardons generally should be exercised with caution. It should reflect the sense of mercy, and mercy should be constructive. There are certain things, in disciplinary matters we call mistaken kindness. Kindness that you give to an errant person or a child, that does not necessarily make him understand the gravity of what he has done. Then apart from that, the kind of message sends across to people. So, when you do a cross reference, you do a cross reference of those people that were pardoned. You see that those people with terrible, criminal, heinous, vices were the one pardoned. You hardly even have people that are maybe political prisoners or anything that maybe a one-time offender, that needs a second chance. You don't have that happening. You have these hardened people that you are letting back into the society. And there is, when you talk of this prerogative of mercy thing, there is one very good example that I have at the back of my mind, that happened here in Kwara State. A case of a political thug, known cultist, that was pardoned by the state government at some point, and at the end of the day ended up being murdered, butchered somewhere around Taiwo. So you have that kind of a situation. At the end of the day, you let some of the crudest, the cruelest, the most vile kind of humans back into the society, and they continue to constitute menace. So what kind of message are you sending across? So I think it's a welcome development that Falana did what he asked for a review of that list. And I sincerely think that federal government should do something about it.
All right. Well, the pardon list includes individuals convicted of really, really serious crimes, just like you said. And one of the top talked about persons on that list is Miriam Sanda.
Oh yeah.
And there's been a lot of back and forth conversation about it, especially on social media. What do you think that this granting pardons to individuals like this how does it impact public, like their perception of justice?
Well, without prejudice to whatever merits, the president must have considered in granting that pardon. But I think that it is unsalutary, considering the fact that sometimes when you have to consider the feelings of those whom they have hurt, We are talking of a woman who was convicted of murdering her husband, and to a very large extent, because I followed that story at that time. It wasn't a case of, what we saw was, the reports that we got at that time was it was a gender-based violence that is heavily on the side of the woman, that the woman was the aggressor for a very long time. You understand? And so I don't know, but of course, a lot of feminists came out and made a lot of imputations at that time.
It's families. It could have been anything.
It could have been anything, yeah, because
violence. Nobody was
really there. You understand? But again, when we follow the reports, it was heavily against the woman. So when something like that, maybe I would have preferred something like maybe you commute it to maybe after serving some years, maybe you reduce it to 5 or 7 or 10 or even 15 years. But certainly not, you just let her off the hook, because all it now takes for things like that is to be well connected to commit any crime. That's what it simply means,
So now that they're saying that it's still in review, do you think the list will be shortened, or would federal government take into consideration what the controversies are saying?
I don't think so. Do you know what it means when the Council of State meets and the president takes that decision and rules out those names? It's you rarely have a situation where the president will have to go back on his words. It's like saying that the president doesn't know what he's doing. But let's see how it happens. Anyway, this is Nigeria. So anything could happen.
Well, something else Falana said was he emphasized about that the prerogative of Mercy Committee should guide state governors to consider pardons for those convicted of state offenses. I think you mentioned something like that just now.
Yeah.
How does this align with the constitutional provisions of on pardoning powers?
Yeah, probably what Falana is saying is that look, if you consider what happened at the federal level, he had to consult widely. The president had to consult widely before he ruled out those pardons. So they should guide the state governors too. It shouldn't be unilateral. They should be by wider consultation before they do things like that.
All right. 0807-777-9927 is the number to call to be part of the conversation this morning. Let's move to another news story real quick.
Yeah.
The Nigerian Senate has deferred consideration of the Electoral Act Repeal and Amendment Bill 2025 to allow for wider consultation and detailed scrutiny of its provisions. The legislation, which seeks to repeal the Electoral Act 2022 and introduce a new electoral framework, includes measures such as digital registers of results, QR-coded voter identification cards, and stricter timelines for party primaries and result transmission.
Well, we cannot emphasize the need for review of the INEC guidelines. INEC laws. Let's set up INEC and the conduct of election. We cannot overemphasize it. In fact, we need that law since yesterday. But at the same time, while we are in dire need of that law, we have to be equally careful, about those provisions that we are willing to bring in, because in as much as we talk about electrical transmission and things like that, we must be aware of the fact that that technology is not wholly indigenous. We are going to be relying on a lot of softwares from countries outside Nigeria. So anything that could in any way undermine the integrity of our election by outside forces is something we should be very careful about. But I think there is always a way around it. I think the merit of a properly transmitted election result far outweighs the demerits. So I don't know what grounds the Senate is deferring the debate on it. But I think if the deferment should be long, it should be short, so that we can get this thing over with. And by 2027, we'll be looking with confidence to having an electoral, exercise that is, that has integrity.
All right. How do you think this will play with the new INEC chairman as well?
Well, again, you see, I was listening to Senator Natasha yesterday.
Okay.
Senator Natasha, she complained about not being allowed to make her contribution, but she came on her handle, to commend the appointment of the INEC chairman. Yes, he looked at his resume, and having looked at the resume, hearing from Natasha herself, I think the man is well fitted for that
Qualified.
job. He's well qualified for that job. And especially there was one aspect of his qualification, which is evidential, aspect of law. He understands evidence very well, and he understands corporate governance very, very well. So those are his expertise. I haven't been a vice chancellor. I did say something about looking for someone that kind of mirrors Atahiru Jega. You understand? And I think we have something like that in Amobita. Because we're talking of somebody that has somewhere to go back to, where they will look at him either with respect or disrespect. So Atahiru Jega left that place with his head held high. That's why, when he speaks, people listen. I don't see myself, listening to Mahmoud, the previous. I don't see anybody in his right senses can ever take that kind of a person serious. You understand? But when Atahiru Jega speaks, you listen. You understand? If Maurice Iwu speaks, nobody listens to him because we saw the terrible record he set in INEC. So that is, what I am seeing here. So I think that considering the stellar performance he had at the Senate, I think to a very large extent, it appears as if we have the right, that is the square peg in the square hole. But again, Anambra election is coming, and that will be the litmus test to see whether all those things can, which will have a cause to be optimistic in the first instance.
Okay. All right, let's move to another news story real quick. 0807-777-9927 is the number to call to be part of the conversation this morning on touching any of the news stories we've picked on already. The federal government has also refuted online claims suggesting that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, is no longer required for admissions into Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Reports circulating on social media had stated that universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education would conduct their own entrance examinations, effectively sidelining JAM. I know, was it about 2 or 3 days ago?
We were talking about something.
Yeah, someone said to scrap post-UTME instead.
Actually, well, there was nowhere I read about government scrapping JAM, but I think it came at in the heels of this report about removing some subjects, core subjects, that mathematics or English or whatever. I think that was where the confusion came about. But all the same, for me, I think.
How do you get scrapping JAM from removing mathematics?
Of course, this is the era of fake news and the rest of them. Sometimes, some of these stories are, they fly them like kites. To get the public's, view of it, and get a kind of traction that upon which they can leverage on to pressure the government to do certain things. But for me, I think JAM has come to stay. I think JAM JAM, you should have a JAM, so that you can have a uniform standard of bringing people into the
university.
But again, some argue that it conflicts with the desire for. Okay, sorry, we have a call.
Hold you on there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name?
Yeah, my name is Danielle. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, Toyin.
Good morning.
It is Toyin. Good morning. Yeah, he's not here this morning.
How are you doing this morning?
We're fine,
We're fine, thank you. Thank you so much. Please go ahead with your comment.
All right. Yeah, quick on the chairman, the other chairman appointment. There's no thing saying that he has a resume that is quite overwhelming. And I know, taking into consideration where he is from, there are people that stands to be counted, and they stand tall with their integrity. But my fear for him now is, I pray that he won't fall to the winter campuses of these politicians. I doubt if there is any politician out there at this moment that can stand his background in terms of education and everything that he's gone through. But I hope he will be able to stand on his own and do that which is right for himself and for the sake of posterity and for the sake of Nigeria. No doubt, he is the perfect fit for the moment. And I pray that God sees him through, so that at least for once, Nigerians can say we have voted and our votes have counted. God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You see, but again, Mr. Tony, I don't know, but there is this feeling I have. You see, you might be shocked at the number of people with integrity we have in the country. There are so many. But you see, there is this thing we call conspiracy of silence, because you have a few bad eggs that are very vocal and have means to cow a lot of people. So we tend to think that there are not many. So I sincerely hope that the case of Amukpito, will bear this theory out, that we indeed have people with integrity.
All right. Let's take another call real quick. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please, could you turn down the volume of your radio set or turn it off?
Good morning, Danielle and Nicholas.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from,
Good
please?
morning. The same Jim Madeku from
Okay,
Paris.
Jim. Yes. Okay, Jim. Please go ahead with your comment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we
hear very
can.
well. Please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello, Jim.
Hello.
I said good morning.
Yeah, we heard you.
We heard you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, we can. We can, Jim. We can.
Hello?
Hello.
You can hear me now.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Nicholas, please, I don't know if you can hear me clearly. I don't know. My area here, my back here, I'm not hearing well from you.
That's
Can
totally.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I
That's
can hear
totally
you
fine.
very well. I hear you.
That's totally fine, Jim. Please just go ahead with your
Thank
comment.
you very much. You see, Nicholas, please, for God's sake, let me talk on issue at the moment. Please, for God's sake, Nicholas, you made a statement one time that what other Nigerians, let me don't mention tribe, what other Nigerians,
Oh, wow, so sorry.
He really wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, please call
tell us
back.
to call back. Please call back. 0807-777-9927. We're on the conversation of Jam and scrapping. Probably
Okay.
he's him
Okay.
calling back.
All
Let's try. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Oh,
Okay, good morning.
Okay, good
to
morning.
you. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Shitta. I'm calling from Songo.
Shitu from Zongo. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yes. My comment on new INEC chairman. You see, what Nigerians need to understand is that Amopita alone cannot do it. When it comes to free, fair, and credible election, everybody has a role to play. From security operative, INEC officials, citizens, and the politicians. And if you look at our elections in Nigeria, all the categories I mentioned, everybody is contributing negatively to our election process. And in the end, we want INEC alone to conduct a credible election. You see desperate politicians, you see some politicians that all what they are looking for is just loophole. And in the end, we have issues. Okay, look, for instance, for 2023 election. Up till now, everybody is just blaming INEC. And we are not speaking with one voice. Because as a people, we need to even know truly where INEC got it wrong. Even somebody that did not even win an election, they get it now, truly. They also come out and say it's not INEC. Fine. INEC made some errors. But it is when we are talking to the truth about where INEC get it wrong, that is where we can move forward. Even some area where they get it right, nobody is looking at it. So I pray that too. Amupita should try his best, and 2027 we should have a free, fair, and credible election. But only him cannot do it. It's all our responsibility. Thank you.
All right.
That is my comment this morning.
Thank you,
Thank
Shitu
you so
from
much,
Zongo.
Mr. Shitu.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made a very good point. But again, you see, we had those problems. Don't forget that in 2007, when late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua came on board,
Yeah.
he himself said that he knows that the election that brought him into power is flawed. And he decided to work on it. He saw the problem as INEC. We had that problem before. We've always had this problem before Atahiru Jega came on board. And one man made a difference. So it's not going to be different. So, you see, if we try to obfuscate the situation just to make it look like, it's not only him and things like that, we give them the leeway to get away with murder. You see, the thing is, it's very simple. INEC bungled 2023 election. There is no iota of doubt. And the number one plank was the fact that the agreement he made with the public that it was going to be transmitted live did not hold. And at the end of the day, they were, that is dancing on different foot, shifting the goalpost. So that is squarely on them. So we want to see them say A and mean A. Even if things go wrong, we know they have done that. But that is just what we're asking for, nothing more.
All right. Let's take another call. Hello, good morning. Oh. Hello? Oh, no. Please do also try to connect back. The network was really, really, really bad. Let's take this comment from Facebook. Dr. Mrs. Umar Libar from Owerri. She says, we're not surprised at the approval by Senate because they keep approving everything the president brings to the table. Also, let Amupiton's word be his bond because we have heard enough rhetorics. Well, we were watching and the whole world is watching. You need to stand on the foundation of truth and write your name in gold. May God see us through. Thank you for your comment, Dr. Mrs. Umar Libar. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
This is Taya Liu, and I'm calling from Zongo.
Taya Liu, please go ahead with your comment.
Well, beautiful discourse this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the resume of the Professor Amopito speaks well for him, as someone who's qualified for the job. But just like we've been saying in the House, Nigerian factor is another thing. He is an chairman, but the structure he has made on the ground. And I think primarily also we cannot for now judge him with the Anambra or Enugu elections because he's just in there. There are so many things that he's got time to do. Then, secondly, I want to ask Mr. Nicholas, who said the electoral body in Nigeria is called INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission. Is there another way that we can get the chairman of INEC that comes in there and is not a sole nominee of the president? Because we have this old proverb that says, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Is there another way that we can fashion out a system whereby the person who is to be chair of INEC is not a sole nominee of government, so that we can freely say that the chairman of INEC is really, really, truly independent. Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, here's how I'm going to put it. Theoretically, there can't be anything called independent in the true sense of that word. That is the simple truth. Once we understand that, then we move to the next stage. You see, I think considering the laws, setting up INEC, there is enough safeguard to allow for independent candidate, an independent-minded candidate to come on board. Yes, the president can nominate, but the Senate, which is the second arm of government that can check the executive, will clear him. If the Senate does not clear him, then he doesn't go there. You understand? So, you see, I think within that framework, there is enough check. But the unfortunate thing is, the moment you have the quality of people you elect as your president, as your lawmaker, determines whether you are going to have an independent-minded INEC chairman. Don't forget that we once had a president who did not even know Atahiru Jega from Adam. He just, they nominated. He then said, okay, go to the Senate and clear yourself. And that was it. And we had one of what we can say is one of the best elections we've had. So sometimes it's about the quality of people. In fact, if you take it away from there and put it in the judiciary, at the end of the day, it is still the president that will nominate the Supreme Court Justice. So if he decides to pick somebody he knows that will listen to him when he brings an INEC nomination, what are we going to do? So it's back to square one.
Let's take one more call before we round off. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dennis.
Hello?
I'm Jean from Fati.
You called back.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
That's good. Please go ahead.
Yeah, please, Nicholas, good morning. Once more again. As I was saying before, I was cut off. You see, I always advocate for peace and love in this country, Nigeria. Because I'm an old man. Nicholas, 1968, I listed into the Biafran Army at the age of 18. And I thank God I'm alive today in Kwara State.
Wow.
And I pray that God will continue to guide and protect this country called Nigeria. Nicholas, you made a statement one time that what other part of the country will do, maybe don't mention type, do and get away with it. And another part of the country will even do less than that and will not get away with it. Why? Because it hadn't me, Nicholas, hearing some of our brothers, like I had from one man one time, what do you call him? Isaac Fayoshe, that only live outside Fulani and Yoruba own Nigeria. Can you imagine that? In this new Nigeria that we are, please, for God's sake, I'm saying and I'm appealing against our president to withdraw. I'm not asking him to pardon because the case is still in the court. To withdraw the case against Nandi Kanu as the key to the president of Meati Allah. Yes, you have forgotten, Nicholas.
Yeah.
The federal government withdrew the case of terrorism against president of Meati Allah for the sake of peace. Is he not a Nigerian?
Yeah.
So what do we do? Please, for God's sake, let us have heart of forgiveness and stop this act of hatred.
Thank you, Pa.
Thank you,
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You see, your concerns as well. I understand your concerns very well, being an Igbo man myself. But you see, again, I don't know, the late Ohanaeze Ndigbo leader, when he was rearrested, there was something, there was an Igbo proverb he made. He said, when a young man, decides to lift up his father, he should not complain when the rapper covers his eyes. And that was the case of Nnamdi Kanu. You see, as much as, yes, you have a point that, if they are going to try him, let them try him transparently. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But you see, this is not to say that, for me, Nnamdi Kanu has gone about his agitation the wrong way. I'm one of the many Igbo people who feel that he went about that agitation the wrong way. You understand? So there is no taking away the fact. Then, of course, and while making that agitation, there was so much agitation. He agitated a lot of sections of the country. You understand? So, yeah, we need transparency and we need forgiveness. But we'll still keep on appealing on that.
All right. Well, our time is fast spent. We can't take any more comments. Thank you so much for joining us on the analysis this whole week. We absolutely appreciate it. We'll be back to your ears next week, God willing, from 8 o'clock to 8:30. Your highlights for you in a few seconds.
Well, it's been a kind of the presidential pardon thing. I think we should take a thorough look at it again and let the president be guided next time.
All right, then. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. Thank you for joining us. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Have a great, great weekend.
Hello.